These are the opening words by A. Milne. It's called Us Too. And yes, it's about poo. Wherever I am, there is always poo. There's always poo in me. Whatever I do, he wants to do. Where are you going today? Says Pooh. Well, that's very odd because I was too. Let's go together, says Pooh, says he. Let's go together, says Pooh. What's twice 11? I said to Pooh. Twice what? Said Pooh to me. I think it ought to be 22. Just what I think myself, said Pooh. It wasn't an easy sum to do, but that's what it is, said Pooh, said he. That's what it is, said Pooh. Let's look for dragons, I said to Pooh. Yes, let's, said Pooh to me. We crossed the river and found a few. Yes, those are dragons all right, said Pooh. As soon as I saw their beaks, I knew. That's what they are, said Pooh, said he. That's what they are, said Pooh. Let's frighten the dragons, I said to Pooh. That's right, said Pooh to me. I'm not afraid, I said to Pooh, and I held his paw, and I shouted, Shoo, silly old dragons, and off they flew. I wasn't afraid, said Pooh, said he. I'm never afraid with you. So wherever I am, there's always Pooh. There's always Pooh in me. What would I do, I said to Pooh, if it wasn't for you? And Pooh said, true, it isn't much fun for one, but two can stick together, says Pooh, says he. That's how it is, says Pooh.
So this is the story, The Invisible String by Patrice Karst. And this is a great story this time of year. You may be missing loved ones who are far away or who are no longer with us. It may have been nice to have people home and sad to see them go away. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. It's nice when they sleep, isn't it? Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Can you guys help me make it rain? There you go. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. Mommy, Mommy, they cried out as they ran to her. Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed. We want to stay close to you, said Jeremy. We're scared. Mom said, we're always together, no matter what. How can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed, said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, this is how. Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mommy was holding. I was about your age when Mommy first told me about the invisible string. I don't see a string, said Jeremy. You don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love. But if you can't see it, how do you know it is there? Asked Liza. Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you are always connected to everyone you love. When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts, said Jeremy. Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string? Liza asked. She sure does, said Mom. And best friends like me and Lucy, asked Liza. Best friends, too. How far can the string reach? Anywhere and everywhere, Mom said. Would it reach me, even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean? Asked Jeremy. Yes, Mom said, even there. Or a mountain climber? Even there. A ballerina in France? Even there. A jungle explorer? Even there. How about an astronaut out in space. Yes, even there. Then Jeremy quietly asked, "Can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven?" Yes, even there. "Does the string go away when you're mad at us?" "Never," said Mom. "Love is stronger than anger. And as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there." Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see or who gets to ride in the front seat or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right. You two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they now could clearly see no one is ever alone. And that is the story of the invisible string.
Over the past few years, I've reconnected with a lot of old friends, people whose company I really enjoyed at certain times of my life. And for some reason or other, probably distance and the busyness of life, our time together waned and we lost contact. People that I considered dear friends at the time just faded away. I found this heartbreaking, but also almost impossible to do anything about. So recently, with the help of email and social media, I have reconnected with some of them, and it truly has brought me great joy. The fondness that I felt for them years ago has returned, and I look forward to remaining their good friend. Sharing stories and laughs and memories, not to mention catching up on our lives with each of them, has been very fun and has also brought up interesting and challenging emotions about true friendship and what it is. I'm not really always clear about what true friendship is, because of course people claim to be friends when they really are not. And also it's possible to be nurturing a friendship, a new friendship, that is not fully formed, and is certainly possible, for me anyway, to misstep and not even realize it. So true friendship, what does that mean? For me, it's something precious and not always easy to maintain. The song "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers really articulates well a lot of what I think it does mean to me. Being connected, staying connected, even when it's hard, and being there for one another through good times and bad. It's important to have someone you can count on when you want to share a laugh, complain about a situation, slay dragons, or just bend someone's ear. Someone said that friends are the only relationship that we choose, and that's why, in many ways, those relationships are particularly valuable. I'm lucky enough to have friends, good friends even, from all the eras of my life: childhood, high school, college, young adulthood, motherhood, middle age, and whatever this is now. I'm not going to say old age. So I value the friendships that I have that have endured, the friends with whom I have reconnected, the new friends I'm making. Since staying connected is the key and perhaps the hardest thing to do, I will continue to try to stay connected despite the reality of distance, age, and the busyness of life. I think we can all appreciate having friends, or even just a friend who helps us carry on and is willing to let us lean on them. As Bill Withers says in the song, "One day I'm going to need somebody to lean on." I'm happy to be that friend.
Well, these three amazing human beings sure do feel like rainbows getting to work with them. And I've actually been thinking about you three a lot as I was writing my reflection and thinking about my friendship. And it's so funny, you mentioned middle-aged and beyond. And so my reflection is from middle school to middle-aged. And this specific friend I'm going to tell you about, as I've been following your adventures and your traveling through social media, I think about that's going to be us one day. And so I love having good role models to look up to, just enough nurturing, support, and maybe getting into a little bit of trouble. So glad to have that. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my friend Tara, who blew into my life like a tumbleweed in 8th grade. And, as I was thinking about that and I was telling my kids about that, I started thinking, wow, when my parents used to say that they had friends for 30 plus years, I went, wow, my parents must be really old. And then sometimes people just come into your life really young. And so as we are well into 3 decades of friendship, it's carried a lot for us. She was a Texas girl that I met on the playground in New Jersey. And, I remember how cool she looked in her brown suede fringe coat and her long hair, and thinking, my gosh, they're going to eat her alive. And so went up and introduced myself just so that, to protect her, really. Little did I know that she would help me open up and become the person that I am today. Friends support one another to figure out your passions, to help nurture and stoke that fire along the way. I was in the front row at many of her theater performances when she was super nervous so that she could see me if she needed to and forget about everybody else there. And like a stage mom, I often knew all the lyrics and all the choreography, but I clearly shouldn't sing because I sing in the key of me, which is often wrong, but I could mouth along the words in case she ever got lost. We had a long, strong friendship in high school. We kind of went our different ways in college, but like a familiar blanket, we could just reach out and call each other and pick up exactly where we left off. We always made points to see each other when we were home on breaks. And funny enough, our freshman year of college, we were the only 2 girls to work building a golf course. And so amongst all of the men and teenage boys, here were these 2 young women hauling sod and mowers, and then we would throw out our socks at the end of the week because they were so gross and gnarly they didn't even benefit from washing. And then we would venture out to the beach to even out all of our tan lines, even though we wore an abundance of sunscreen even back then. But 80 hours a week in the sun will surely leave your hair in a neat tie-dye pattern, we found. And we would go early in the morning and sleep on the beach and surf a little bit and come on home. And as we started to grow up and become adults ourselves, other key players started to enter our lives. Boyfriends who would become potential husbands. And one of the biggest tests was to make sure that they were vetted by each other. Because we're those type of friends who will tell you how it is. We don't mince the words. And I think that's what's held our friendship really strong over the time. Sometimes you need friends who are going to, tell you how great you are. Sometimes you need friends who are going to tell you what you need to hear. And I'm really fortunate that she is that friend for me and I for her. She is the type of friend who will go to a baby shower in your place when she is not a kid person and wear the paper plate with bows upon it and be photographed. I am the type of friend who will give her the title of auntie and invite her to be a deeper part of our family and our family of choice. Over the years, we have taken many road trips and detours. Well, we could stop here on the way, and our spouse saying, well, that's about 2 hours out of the way, but we're so close. Why not? And of course, they would oblige. When one of my very best friends, Charlotte, who was like a sister to me, passed away very unexpectedly, and I had a newborn of only 2 weeks old and was here in Indiana, and the funeral was back in New Jersey. Tara went in my place and delivered the eulogy because she too had known Charlotte and loved her as I did. When Tara's father passed away, and we had to go down to Clarksville, Tennessee to clean out his house and all of his belongings, I said, "Give me the directions, I'll hop in the car." And that's how we spent Thanksgiving a few years ago. We also remember the fun things and are good about keeping each other accountable. You know, that phone that is in our pockets, a lot of times we send memes and scroll social media, but every once in a while I get ready to send her something and I went, when's the last time I talked to her? Maybe I should text her and set up a phone date. And we do. We have many phone dates while cleaning our houses or walking our dogs. And when I found out my favorite musician was going to be playing in Dublin next summer on my birthday, I texted her just joking, "Oh, this is so tempting." And she's one of those friends who went, "Heck yeah, let's do it." And so we are flying to Ireland next summer and we're going to have a grand adventure. And I'm not sure if they're ready for us over there, but I guess we'll just wait and see. And so I encourage you to think about your friends who you've had, whether they're new or old, whether they're just emerging friendships. And I hope that you get to nurture them along a lifetime.